times 6 is 15 plus 22. I think that'll be it. 22.
Yeah, with the dollar symbol would be
Mhm.
good because it is money.
Okay.
That's that is
Okay.
good. All right.
And then for 15, I just wanted to check to make sure that's correct, but I do believe it is correct.
It is correct. Yeah. I looked at it and it is
Yeah.
correct.
All right, for
So-
1, 2, and 3 is a little bit confusing.
Yep. Let's
So I just need
take
to
a look here.
reminder on them.
All right. So there's some words here that you know may remember here. To add fractions, you have to make a common denominator. And to get the common denominator, you really want what's called the least common multiple between 8
and 2.
and 2. And there's
4?
a couple ways to do that.
Would that be 4?
No. So this is where like 4 isn't really anything in this case. The correct way to do this is to build a factor ladder. All right. And then what you're doing is you're starting with the smaller number. So in this case, your least common multiple
2.
is the 2 times, and then you go to the other one and you're like, well, you've got 3 2s here, but I've only got 1 here. So I need to put 2 more in. Okay, so your least common multiple is 8. The other way to do it, which I don't like, but it is acceptable way is to start writing out the multiples of these. So it's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 8, 16, 24. Problem with this doing it,
yeah.
Problem with this one is sometimes you miss the fact that it could be the original number.
Yeah.
Which is could be a problem. So because the denominators are the same, you have to figure out, well, what did you do to make them the same? So 8 times what number gets you to 8, which is 1. If you multiply the top number by
1.
By 1. How do you go from 2 to 8? You multiply by
3.
Try again.
Or 2.
2 times. So I'm asking 2 times what number gets you to 8?
Oh, 2 times 4.
4. Yeah. So since you multiply that by 4, you multiply the top number by 4.
So 5 eighths.
Multiplying 1 times 4.
Well, 1 times 4 is 4.
Yes. Okay. You're giving me the final
5
answer.
eighths.
I see. Yes. There's your final answer.
Okay.
Now, if you didn't use the least common multiple, like let's just say you used a common multiple, like what some students do is they multiply the two bottoms together. Does work. This isn't always the least common multiple. You would then have to reduce the fraction. Okay. Number 2 here. I'll let you try. It's really similar to number 1. You have to find the least common multiple. So give that a try, please.
Okay. $13/12.
Right. You remember you're subtracting here.
Oh, I thought it was that. That makes a lot. Or you would just subtract them? Yeah.
Top numbers.
2. So 2/12.
Okay, what did you get did you get 12 as your least common multiple?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you go from 4 to 12? What do you multiply for?
Multiply it by 3.
Okay, so what is the top number? What is 3
9.
times 3?
9.
Okay, and then tell me the top number here on the right.
4.
Okay. Okay, now you're subtracting the top.
Oh, so
9.
5.
Okay,
5/12.
yes.
Okay.
All right, any questions on that?
No.
Okay, so three is a problem that we did a lot of last year. It was on one of those retakes where we kind of went over this over and over again. And it's there's a couple of ways to do it. The first thing is you have to figure out, like, is 2/5, is it less than 9/10?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember how to determine if two fractions are,
Can
which
you
one's
turn them into a
smaller?
percentage or a decimal?
You could, but they're already both fractions. So I would just recommend making them both be the same
Mm-hmm.
bottoms. So what if you go from 5 to 10, tell me what number goes in the numerator here.
4.
4. So is this true? Is that
Yeah, because the 9/10 is larger.
yes, yes. So in this case, you have to borrow from the number here, the 1. You have to borrow from
Mm-hmm.
it. Well, we haven't done this in a while. Because it's 1, like, it kind of like debatable whether you should even do this. The other thing here is to convert from what's called a mixed to an improper fraction.
Mhm.
You take the bottom number here, which is a 5, you multiply it by the 1, and then
And then you
add the
add
2.
2. So it
So
would
this really
just
is
be
7/5 minus 9 over
9.
10. And now it's really a problem like you did in number 2.
So you just
So
make
what
it
I'd,
to 10
yep, why
and
don't you,
then 14. So then that'd be 14 minus 9 would be 5/10.
does that reduce?
5/10 could. Well, I don't think so.
Is there a number that goes into both 5 and 10?
10, 5,
You can divide both of these by
5.
5.
So 1/5.
The one on top is correct, but not on the bottom.
Oh, one's half.
Yes. Okay. We should do some more fractions, but let's get through the rest of your assignment first. Was this today's assignment or was this yesterday's assignment? How does all
It
that?
was today's assignment. Just because we had an off week, it would normally be yesterday's assignment
Okay.
and be due
So
on Wednesday.
let me show you what the pattern would like. Let me show you why. Losing my words here. B is not correct, but I want to show you why. I want to show you where B would be correct.
Mm-hmm.
So here is
C, B.
so if this were the pattern, if this were the one that was given, top, right, top, then B would be correct.
But it would be bottom. Is the bottom one. So
Right.
it would
So
be.
so what you have to almost do here is say, okay, it's top,
So it
right,
would be
bottom,
A.
yeah, left.
So it'd be A. Not
Now you
B.
could argue there's not enough information to really figure this out, but that is that is, yeah, that is probably what they're looking for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure if this one's right, which I don't think it is. But
Yeah,
the next one.
this is where doing a few lessons over the summer would have really, we could have spent some time kind of getting all this figured out. Now
Mhm.
maybe just
It's just
being
I don't
back.
think, and we're not gonna be doing these in school. This is just a sort of like a review from 6th grade. So
You
we're not
will
really
see
gonna be doing them.
fractions. You will see fractions over and over again. So
Well, yeah.
you
Yeah,
you
that's
did
true.
the correct thing here by multiplying the top, but you also have to multiply the bottom.
Oh, okay, so 100.
Yeah. But see, the thing is it's completely wrong. Like there's like, it's like, oh, I just missed left off a zero. It's very, I mean, it's like leaving out sugar in a cake. It's really, really, you really
Mhm.
want, you really want it all to be there.
Okay.
But I like the effort. I like that you've tried. I like that you've tried a bunch of these because it I'm seeing some things that will help to um, make this
Mhm.
lesson go better. So next problem here you've done. You were kind of asking about this earlier. The way to do problems like this is to convert them all into the same thing. Like
Mhm.
either convert all into fractions or convert this to a decimal and then convert all the others into decimals. Most people like to go to decimals, and that's probably what I would recommend here. Like, do you remember how to make 2/5 into a decimal?
You would.
There's a couple of ways, but one is to go to 100, since 5 goes to 100.
Mhm. So then 20, or
What do you multiply 5 by to get to 100?
multiply it by 20.
It'd be the same thing on the top.
So 2 times 20 is 40.
And that tells you that it's 0.4.
Mhm.
So that helps.
And
That's like,
okay.
okay, first one's right.
Okay.
What about the second one?
Second one is not right because it was actually 40 over 100, not
Okay.
4. The next one I think is right because
So do you remember how to go
0.4.
from a percent to a decimal?
No, I don't.
So you divide by 100. Divide by 100.
So
So is that one of these?
I think so.
So divided by 100, that looks just like what we have here. So I would say
Yeah.
yes, it is. About the picture over here on the right.
And I don't think that's right.
Say that again.
I don't think that's right.
So think of it
Yeah.
as it's kind of unclear because it should say probably shaded in terms of shaded over the
Oh,
total.
okay. So 5 over 2. Okay, so
How
that
many
would
are
be right.
how many are shaded?
3,
So 3 over how many total?
5.
Okay, so that's not right because it's not 2 over 5. But if you look at the unshaded, this is one of those you could maybe take to your teacher and say, well, the unshaded over the total is 2 over
2 over
5.
5, which is right.
They probably mean the shaded. I mean, if I were to guess, because I don't know, but you could point that out. You could say, well, it depends on the way you look at it. So it looks like though it is probably not that, but you might bring that up. All right, so number eight here. So there's two math operations that make things larger. If you want to get a larger number, you either add or you multiply. Smaller
Subtract or divide. But
And
that's multiplying because that's the dot.
so multiplication and division are really the same if you use a fraction. So is there a fraction, or maybe you can just say the word, how do you go from 10 to 5?
You would
What's the fraction?
subtract.
You can't subtract, it's multiplying here.
Okay.
Like 5 is what part of 10?
A half.
A half. So here's another one, like 9 Bach 3. What would go in that? in that box there.
Yes, that's a third.
A third, yeah. And then you could do other stuff. You could say like 28 dot box equal 7.
So fourth.
A fourth, yeah. Good. Okay, number 9 is totally unrelated to anything we've been doing, but you've lived in
Oh,
if you've lived in Tucson long enough, you've been, say, on Speedway,
mm-hmm.
and then, depending on which way you look, there's Broadway. They do not intersect. If you're on Speedway, you can't get to Broadway. So these are considered parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they don't have to go horizontal. They can go any direction. The idea is that parallel lines never intersect.
Mm-hmm.
Touch isn't the best word, and intersect
Okay.
is the preferred word. It's not a math word, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So your answer for 10 is correct.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, so let me quickly look at your other side here, just see if there's anything on there to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
And also at the beginning, you said it was going to be a longer lesson, and I talked to my mom. She said that you said it would be a short lesson until September.
Okay, I'll look at that. We can stop here in a few minutes, but there's a few more things here to look at. So you've got this one here, number 5. I don't want to say this. You have the right answer, but there's potential here for issues. So you've correctly done the order of operations here to start out, which is you do what's inside parentheses first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, multiplication and division are really together. Same with addition and subtraction. And when you get to just multiplication and division, you do it left to right. Okay, so you really should divide first, which is 5. Okay. And then you multiply. Okay.
Okay.
So like, and you'll see you get different answers here. So I didn't mean I mean that you do get different answers. That's why it's really important to do it left to right. And that may be why the instructor has chosen this problem here. You actually did this correctly in number 3, which is good because but I didn't know why it was different there in lesson. So
and also I'm almost positive that number 8 is wrong.
yeah, number 8, you left out a square in your second line here. So we'll take a look at that. All right, so 18 minus 12, and then you're missing a square here. So that's 6 squared. So 36 divided by 9, that's 4 plus 7 is 11.
Okay, so it would be square. Yeah, I just didn't see the square. Then that would
looks like you just you got, yeah, that's there. 64. Okay. 24 minus 9. So it's good. All right, there's a small problem with number 10. Number 10 here. So 2 to the 5th is 32, not 64. That will affect your answer there.
So, all right. 32. All right. 32.
So it should be 32 minus 14.
Okay. So 32.
Small issue with number 11. I don't know, let me know when you're ready for us to look at that.
I'm ready.
All right, so for number 11 here, 75 plus 25 is 100. 100 here. Not sure. It looks like you subtracted.
Yeah.
Maybe you were looking ahead here. So final answer of 90, 95.
Okay. All right.
All right. Is mom perhaps available briefly? If not, I can
Sure,
cut your
I'll
call.
ask her.
Okay.
Hang on.